All right. All right, everyone tuning in. Welcome to another episode of the Managing Partners Podcast. Today I have a special guest. I'm joined by Cynthia Augello. Don't want to mess that up. Not to be confused with Jello, as you told me before this. But thank you so much for coming on today. Excited to learn more about you and your firm and what you do, what makes you different. And so please introduce yourself personally, I think, first, if you could, and then I'll ask some questions more about your firm and your business.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me on, Kevin. Happy to be here. It's a great way to spend a Thursday. So personally about me, let's see, what is there? I live on Long Island, Suffolk County, surrounded by farm. It's fantastic. I have I don't even like to say this out loud, a 23-year-old son who is an awesome human being. And other than that, I've got like a couple of wiener dogs and a bunch of cats that have all grown up on the farm. And I have just taken them all in from inside because underneath my house, my deck is a cat brothel. And I get new cats every single year. So I end up with white cats.
Well, I have a dog and a cat. And we rescued the dog. And we were kind of inherited the cat, so they don't kill each other, so that's good.
That's good. That's good. My cat actually chases around my dogs.
So I have a larger dog, and my cat like sneak attacks him or her, and I'm like, "You're a huge dog, like what? Scared to death."
Yeah,
Cats just don't care.
Yeah, it's true.
Very true. All right, well, so you're in New York. So let's talk about your practice, which is why we're here to discuss that. What is your focus areas of expertise? Is there any particular practice area that you really focus on that's kind of like your main thing? And sometimes other firms they do a lot of things, but they kind of have a main focus. Where's your area of growth? Those things like that.
So mostly I do employment litigation on the defense side. So I represent companies of all shapes and sizes, some international companies, some mom and pop kinds of places, all of that kind of things like that. When they get sued for employment issues, discrimination, sexual harassment, all of that great stuff keeps me very busy. I also represent schools kind of doing the same thing. So between teenagers, because I represent private schools, so teenagers in the K through 12 range, they get very creative with the things that they do to each other, and employees in the workplace, it's never a dull moment. I hear all of these fantastic things every single day, and I just hang up the phone sometimes and shake my head because I can't believe some of the stuff that I'm hearing. But at this point, I can't believe things still surprise me. But that's basically my major focus. And then other than that, I do some regular commercial litigation, contract disputes, and things like that. But most of my work's in the federal practice.
Okay, great. So, what would you say sets you apart? I'm sure there's other firms in the area, and kind of what's your geographic coverage? Is it for the whole state? Is it certain counties?
So I do practice all through New York. I'm also admitted in New Jersey and California. So I've got clients kind of spread out all over the place. Some of my bigger corporate clients have issues in other states, California or New Jersey, and they'll ask me. I don't necessarily go up there to go to court, but I do weigh in on those types of things. What sets me apart? I think all of my clients would say, and I am lucky enough to be able to actually work with clients that I like. Which is fantastic. I've kind of taken the thought that I don't want to represent people I can't be myself around. I don't believe in being the stuffy kinds of lawyers that, some people are. And I have no problem with that. I want to be able to be myself and talk to my clients in a real way, and be able to tell them the truth. And they know they'll always get that from me, however it's presented. But they do know that I'm going to be real with them. And I think that they appreciate that.
I think that's good. I think that's important. We're pretty, I would say, selective. We want to, if we see like a bunch of red flags and a client wants to sign on with us, then, we're more reluctant to do that because it's a long-term thing and we're not interested. Yep. We're not interested to deal with that. Now, when I was smaller, younger agency or firm myself, you take on anybody you can, but it's nice when you can kind of be a little more selective and sit back. So very nice. Very good. So as far as your business is concerned and the clients you have, how they, how you obtain your clients, I guess what kind of trends do you foresee or in the next, right now versus the next couple of years coming down the pike, like anything positive, negative that you see that may affect your business and changing policies or the economy, whatever. I'm not sure how that would affect you, but is there anything that you kind of have your eyes on?
It's funny. It does kind of affect because I noticed when the economy is not so great, litigation soars, right? So people sue more when the economy is not that great. Last year, with the whole COVID thing, if you would have told me I wouldn't be in court for over a year, I would have been like, there's no way, I do have to say everybody's kind of adapted really well. And, to all of that, and things have changed that I wouldn't have anticipated. I do think that as a result of, the things that have happened over the last year, there is a lot of changes that are going to happen in the employment area, policies and procedures. You're going to have, and I don't know yet if this is good or bad, but, with more people working from home, I guess you have almost less employment claims, but a different type of employment claims. I mean, working from home, I guess you can file an HR complaint against your spouse for sexual harassment, but been home for 3 minutes and the wife has already filed a claim. But we have seen some things, with the, the Zoom meetings, people forgetting to turn off Zoom meetings, engaging in activities that maybe they shouldn't have been engaging in front of you see some things like that now that I would never really have imagined over a year.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, it's a changing landscape there. But people are going to still find a way to make claims.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. I mean, just from, I think we're going to start to see, and we haven't really started seeing it yet, but I think we're going to start to see some claims of this person got to work from home and I didn't, some discrimination claims based on that. I think that there's going to be new creative claims that we haven't had to deal with before, but I think those are going to start to pop up now as people are either going back to the workplace, and I think a lot of companies are going to start to take lease smaller spaces and take less office space on, so they're going to be selective as to who comes back to the office, and I think we're going to see some claims coming out of that.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Less slip and fall cases, I guess.
Probably.
Well, that's okay. So that's something I never thought about. So that's interesting. I guess the thing is, regardless, there's going to be claims. There just might change in how they come about. So
definitely, and the courts, they're working really hard, but they're so backed up now that I think that's going to impact things for a while too. I don't know if we're going to see more judges, but there's budget issues. So there's just a lot of things going on right now that I think are still so up in the air, even though this has been going on for over a year.
Okay. Next question. As far as your next 5 years, what is your I would say growth plans? You might not have growth plans, but what are your plans next 5 years for your firm? What are you looking to accomplish, or are you to add any extra staff, other attorneys? What's kind of the plan?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a relatively new firm. So I think I spent the first year just trying to figure out. I came from a decent sized firm, to now doing this. I used to have people. Now I am people to help me with things. So I think my first year I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to do this all by myself and things like that. And then, along with, I think, everybody else, when COVID started, I was going to learn to bake bread in my house. I said, my house is going to be clean. I have determined it's not from a lack of time that my house isn't spotless all the time. It's just that I don't like to do it. I kind of felt the same way about marketing. When this whole thing started last year, I said, this is great. I'm going to go crazy with the website. I'm going to write all these articles. I'm going to do all yeah, no, it's really not a time thing, I think. So that is my plan. I think I started getting a little better this year with all of that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the plan, is to just put content out there, to write more, to network more as soon as the world gets back somewhat to normal, because that's been very difficult. And I would like to add additional staff or attorneys, just need to find the right fit, because, it's kind of like you spend more time with people at work than you do with your family. And if it doesn't work, it's kind of a disaster. So I'm probably more selective with that than I am with spouses, but that's a different story.
And we have a rigorous process ourselves, but every hire is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And it can make or break you too, especially when you're smaller.
Right.
So, excellent. Well, that's good to know. So, content. I mean, marketing. I'm in a marketing company. It's I constantly try to commit to doing more. And it's not always a time thing. Sometimes it's like, I don't know what to do or say, or trying to come up with some content, or you get blocked, or and then you just don't do it. And then sometimes it is a time thing for me, but always trying to do more. And like you can put out content all day, every day, and not be enough, really. So, but speaking of networking, LinkedIn is a great place. I'm pretty sure that's where we connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been trying to leverage that as much as I can. So that's something you can definitely use. And then hopefully, I love going back to, physical networking is always been my thing. And so hopefully that'll come back soon. So.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I used to always hear all the time, network, grow your people. Who do you know? And I'm like, I really don't know. Yeah, I'm the first attorney in my family. I don't have, that kind of a background. I don't have, like a lot of people that whatever. As I've been doing this more and more, you get to know more attorneys and things like that. And once they work with you a bit and their clients are happy that they've referred to you, it works well in that respect.
Yes.
So growing that network, I found to be kind of the most important network to grow, where I wouldn't have had that previously, but it tends to be what's working. And as far as content and stuff, I've never had a problem with trying to figure out things to write about. It's just the actual finding the time to sit there, write it, and then plaster it all over the place. The LinkedIn page, the Facebook page, the Twitter page, all of those different things. And even though it only takes 5 minutes once it's up there, it's all right. Now I got to find 5 minutes for that. And that's usually the thing that makes it to the next day's to-do list, which I'm pretty sure that's what lawyers do. You just move things from your to-do list from today till tomorrow until you retire, and then that's it.
Then it's get bigger until it's like a retirement plan.
Exactly.
It's a lot of stuff to do.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it is difficult, and preaching to the choir. So, I think referral. Nothing beats a referral ever. But there's as I've grown our business, and I can't rely on my referrals only because we wouldn't have enough work. But referrals, nothing beats a referral. We were always trying to have a plan to touch base with our existing clients, past clients, and try to ask for referrals where we can. Nothing beats that for sure. And then beyond that, trying to take the next level to generate awareness, or if you wrote an article and someone found it or it came up on Google and search and stuff like that, that's your next step, is trying to get in front of people when they're looking. So all good stuff. Let's see. So outside, so I know so the website and stuff you do have, and you're active on LinkedIn, at least enough to answer me when I reach out to you. And we're live on LinkedIn right now. What particular, other than the networking stuff and that, is there anything particular like with marketing that you have done that you've seen some success in?
It's kind of hard sometimes to tell what's successful, because you don't necessarily know where people are seeing you, or, they don't necessarily tell you. So somebody will call you up and they don't necessarily say, I'm calling you because I saw that article in this newspaper, or I've seen this, or I've seen that. So they don't necessarily tell you. I don't always ask. I don't know why I don't ask. I should ask just so
You're
I
just
know.
like, hey, thanks for calling. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really care where you came from. Just thank you. Thanks for reaching out. So I don't really necessarily know what I've done that works. I just kind of been trying everything that I can without going crazy. I'm doing little things because I want to be able to keep it up. I think the worst thing that you have a website and it hasn't been updated in 4 years. So I try to do things that I know I can keep constant.
Yeah.
That it doesn't look like things are too outdated. Everybody gets busy. I understand that. But again, I think it looks terrible when you log on to somebody's website or something and they haven't been updated in a year or 2 years. Like, well, what have you been doing? Hopefully you're busy enough to not have time to do this, but I think it doesn't, it just doesn't leave a very good impression. So I've
totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been kind of starting off small just so I can be consistent. And I figure as I kind of get used to doing things like that, I'm not a person who does change well. So to make any kind of changes is a big deal for me. So I try to do that, stay consistent. And then when I think I can add something on, I'll add it on. I've been trying to write for different magazines, different articles, different newspapers, different, things like that. Do I think that it generates any business? No, I don't. But I do think that I can use it, put it on my website, which helps.
Well, I love what you said. I think the main thing you said there that stuck out to me was consistent. And sometimes it is tough. Like, hey, I've been doing this for a while and I don't know if anything's come of it or not. And sometimes you'd be surprised. And sometimes it might just take the right amount of time or the right person to see it or whatever. But I think anything you do consistently, is going to pay off, or you're gonna get better at it. You're gonna have a ton of content. And in our world, in digital marketing, that's kind of the basis for a lot of what we do. So it's consistency, up to date, all those things will also add validation, right? So if I was referred to you and I went and looked you up and said, oh, their site's old, it's not load, there's no, the last article was 5 years ago. Her social media is inactive. I might say, I'm looking for someone that's up to date and more active, someone that's growing their business and up to date with the laws. Or maybe this person looks like they're, just went to school 20 years ago, and they're kind of like a lifestyle business. So yeah, all that stuff, consistency, I think is huge.
Right. And I think these days that's where everybody looks. They, if I know I do it with adversaries, with clients, I Google stalk people. I have no shame in admitting that I do that completely, but I do. I'll Google people and I'll see what has come up about them, what's written about them, what have they written? Do they see, that's the first impression that I get of most people. So I do that. So I kind of think that the more things, if I Google somebody and I can't find them on the first couple of pages of Google or whatever, I'm a little bit more apprehensive about them. Like, well, what are they doing? Why is that?
Yeah. Then you got Google reviews and so on. Actually, it was just funny. I was just on a phone call, and I think it's a power washing company, which I reached out to come power wash my house. But they check out. They got good stuff, good reviews. They're active, and I called the first person that showed up. So, but everything else checked out as well, at least at this point. So they got the first shot, and I think that's with most businesses. People ask for referrals, obviously for certain things like mechanic or maybe a lawyer, but you still have to check out. You have to validate. You have to be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we do have a couple questions. Let's see. We got this is from Sean Ragsdale. Can employers mandate the COVID vaccine?
That's
a good question.
Yeah. So as of right now, no, they cannot do that. And it depends. Again, it depends on what state you're in too. I'm going to go with that. But they are still talking about whether or not employers can mandate it.
Well, here's the next question from Sean. Can or should?
Well, I think as far as should they, Sean, I think that I would be very wary of telling my, clients to mandate a vaccine. first of all, and I'm not attempting to get political in any kind of a way here, but I do feel that there's a lot of uncertainty about the vaccines. And I think that if an employer mandates somebody to get it and heaven forbid there's some sort of complications, is the company opening themselves up to some sort of a lawsuit because they required that their employees get it. So I think that while there's still so much uncertainty out there, I think that they shouldn't be able to mandate that.
Yeah, and I'm not a lawyer, but I would think that's a bad idea too. So
yeah,
but a very good question, Sean.
Oh, great question.
I'm trying to throw a loop for some loops here. Here's a good question for you. I can read it for you. Do you see at the bottom there?
Yep.
Yeah. So is Como's new PTO state legislator for vaccines going to be rolled out to other states? So not something I'm familiar with.
Yeah, I mean that I don't know. That I'm not sure how the other states are going to handle it. I mean, this is what Governor Cuomo has done here. I can't speak to the other states. I do think that they have been using his policies as a model in some other states. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see similar things in those other places.
Well, there you go, Sean. There's your answer. Kind of.
That was my best lawyer non-answer answer ever.
You got to be careful about what you say. Yeah.
Now, I think of lawyers' favorite two words are "it depends." It's always our favorite answer. It depends, because there's never a black and white yes or no answer pretty much to anything.
Or it's going to cost you.
That's a given, right?
Wait, are you charging me for this interview? Oh man. How long have we been on here?
I'll send you a bill after. It's all good.
That's fine. Anything else you want to add as far as your firm goes, or anything exciting you see or that this happened? Any successes? Any wins you've had? I mean, I know we're just coming out of a crazy year, so that's a win. But
yeah, we are coming out of the craziest year. It's just amazing to me that things are starting to pick up, but it's still very strange to me to go to a virtual trial. In some ways, some of it's better, virtual mediations and things like that. In some ways, I think it's a lot better because people are more calm and things like that. In other ways, it's still such a nightmare, putting documents up on the screen, making sure you have everything. It just brings us to a different level that you don't get the same feeling that you do inside the courtroom and stuff. That being said, everything is starting to open up and move forward, and I am so looking forward to being back in an actual courtroom in some ways. Today is one of the first days, and I'm going to announce this out loud, but today's one of the first days I'm actually dressed appropriately from like the top to bottom. Like usually for court, it's like,
hey, me too. It's a good day.
Pajama pants on the bottom and suit jacket up on top, and I'm just hoping that it never happens where the judge is like, "Will everybody please stand?" No, don't think that would be a great idea. So I am very much looking forward to everything getting back to normal, and I look forward to seeing kind of what the next year has to, I think there's going to be more legislation and more changes that are going to require employers to change handbooks to deal with, different COVID related things that weren't there before. So I think I'm going to be very busy drafting handbooks for a while.
Well, it's good. Busy is good. That's awesome. Growth coming your way. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that. What is the best way for anyone watching and as we share this to contact you, reach out to you? LinkedIn? Is it through your website? What would you like? I can share it in the comments.
Yeah, LinkedIn is great. My website, www.augellolaw.com. And then my email is just caugello@augellolaw.com. So any of those ways are great. Phone 516-888-1208. And those are the best ways. And I pretty much don't sleep, so I'm awake all the time.
That's hilarious. Well, sometimes you run a business, you can't.
Yeah, nope, that's true. I have clients that call me at 6 o'clock in the morning. I have clients from other countries that want to talk at 3 a.m. because it's whatever time their time. I'm like, all right, but I hope you're not really expecting me to be awake, like, but I'll talk to you.
I'll put you on speaker and we're about to sleep.
Exactly.
Well, thanks so much.
Not on Zoom, right? Not at that time.
You just need to have like a pre-recording of you moving around, but you're on mute, but it's not really you.
I might want to consider that.
Could work. But all right. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I hope everyone got some good information on that. Obviously, a crazy year. A lot of changes coming for employment. And we'll see how it goes. But hopefully, Cynthia will be very busy. So,
hope so. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll see you all soon.
Bye.